Well, welcome back to Crosswinds Church More Than Sunday podcast. This is Andrea Coli, filling in for the third time?
Filling in?
Oh, no?
I mean, I'm here with you too.
I know, but I'm trading places.
There we go.
With Chris Coli for the
Hey, everybody.
third time.
I don't know how many times we've done this so far.
I don't know. You've been doing a lot, so you've probably lost track.
It is true. They all kind of bleed together at some point.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to take over the host role for this episode so that we could talk a little bit about this last Sunday.
To make fun of my Spanish?
You know, I did have that in my mind. First of all, you did call it that our 16-year-old was, in fact, mortificada. Mortificada
Yeah, she
at
was.
Your Spanish.
She immediately corrected
Yes.
my Spanish
Yes.
right away as we were watching this thing.
Right. You had the wrong feminine or masculine on one of the
I
words.
think I said eos, and I
Instead
should
of
have said
AS.
AS.
And then you said, because you know the Spanish for, I'm assuming most of the people listening have seen the message, so the Spanish was written on the screen.
And we wrote it wrong.
Yeah, so you said, did I say it wrong or was it written wrong? And she said,
Both. Yeah.
No do-overs on that. But hey, at least you're trying. You're taking a risk.
I'm trying. You know what? I feel actually I had 3 years of Spanish. 3 years of Spanish in high school? 2 years? 3 years. Must have been 3 years. I took French in junior high. This was my thought.
Interesting.
I took French in junior high thinking, if I had to pick a place to travel, I'd love to go to Paris. So I will devote 2 years of junior high language to prepping for some future Paris trip. We went to Paris on our honeymoon.
And?
How well did that work?
Not well.
Terrible.
Not well.
Worst.
But you can't depend on middle school French when you're a 26-year-old.
I know, but that's what I was thinking. And then when
Yeah.
I got to high school, I realized, I think I'm going to run into a lot more
Switch.
Spanish-speaking people than I am French-speaking people.
Well, I mean, I'm glad you're doing it. Now, I will also attest that you've been trying it out in real life.
Yeah.
IRL, as the young people say.
IRL. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's what that means?
Yep.
I've never known that.
And so we live in Livermore and love to buy strawberries.
By the way, everybody, sorry for the dishwasher sounds.
Dishwashers going
Every
in the
time
backyard.
we're here, there's a reverse osmosis. There's a dishwasher.
Sounds of life,
Kennedy
Chris.
just walked in and tried to make tea, and we were like, we're trying to record a podcast.
Yeah,
Stop.
the sounds of life get in the way.
That's
We're
the way.
not going to let that stop us.
All right, sorry, keep going.
Okay, so we love to buy strawberries mostly. Usually it's strawberries from different vendors that are on the street.
Las Fresas.
Thank you.
Yes.
So you and Quinn went, I think Kennedy went, to go pick up some of these strawberries last week.
Yep, always.
And you were really in the Spanish mode because you were getting ready for your message.
I knew it would be $20.
Oh,
That means
$20. Okay.
Yeah.
And so you went up and spoke to the woman who was selling them in Spanish.
Yes, I think what I was supposed to say, what I meant to say, I think I'd worked on this, is ¿Cuánto cuestan las fresas? Which means, how much do the strawberries cost?
Right.
I could have even gotten fancy and said, ¿Cuánto cuestan tus fresas? How much are your strawberries? Right.
And yet, instead of either of those, what you actually said.
I said, ¿Cuánto cuestas? And I don't think I said las fresas at all.
So you were trying to be like, how much? Like, how much do these cost?
Right.
But Quinn later told you what you actually said was, how much do you cost?
¿Cuánto cuestas? Means how much do you cost? This is terrible.
Yeah. So,
It is terrible.
I mean, to be fair,
I'm trying.
Quinn is justified in her mortificada.
Absolutely. I get it now. I get why.
All right. Well,
a
anyway,
problem.
we got past the Spanish and the very tiny mistake.
Right. The whole point of it in the message was to explain that the phrase "I love you" is not the most powerful phrase one could use when it comes to speaking words of love to somebody who needs words of love.
Yeah, and what I appreciated was that you kind of delved into these three other kinds of words that we can really intentionally add to our vocabulary and our relationships that go a little further than just the I love you.
Yeah.
The first one, I think your big sort of takeaway when you were talking about words of encouragement was the idea of the word encouragement and what does it mean? Can you explain a little where you found that or what that is
Yeah,
about?
I don't even remember where I found it. Somebody said it somewhere.
Oh, great.
The idea that what it means to encourage is to inspire courage in someone, I think is I've never heard of that before. Just a quick dirty secret to our message prep is that because we do this thing called the big idea where we all go away and we kind of prep out our year well in advance.
We do some pre-research with each other.
I outlined this message back in May of 2019, and I'm teaching it in May of 2020. So I don't know where I wrote down the note or where I got that idea of inspire courage. Might have been original. Highly doubt it. But I love that idea.
There's actually a ministry, I think, that's mostly geared toward women. That's kind of a writing, gives resources and stuff. And
probably
it's
where
called,
I got it. I do a lot of work.
That. No, but it's called Encourage.
Oh, okay.
Encourage,
Oh.
but it's like a play on encourage.
Yeah.
And I wonder if maybe they read your research.
I'm sure that's it. No, but the idea that when you're encouraging someone, you are inspiring them to courage. I think that's a great idea. Because I think we often think that encouragement is just, hey, hang in there.
Yeah.
You're doing great.
Right, like a cheerleader. Good job.
I really like that shirt you got on today. That's an encouraging word, right? That's not encouragement.
Right.
Encouragement is coming alongside somebody who's down and needs like a kick of courage, like a jolt into their system, and inspiring that into them. And that's kind of what Jesus does in the Sermon on the Mount as he begins with those Beatitudes, I think it's a great concept right there.
Yeah. So I'm going to put you on the spot because you didn't know I was going to ask you this. You told that story. That was where you told the story of Larry Crabb, right?
Yeah.
So did you ever have somebody in your life that kind of, you remember them speaking like really encouraging words that kind of gave you...
Like after a sermon or a prayer in public, like the story I told on
just
Sunday?
like in your life that kind of gave you the courage to go do the next thing that you needed to do that maybe you weren't sure about.
I will say this. When I told that story, the story I told, just in case everybody forgot, because I kind of have it forgotten by now. It's the story of a guy who Larry Crabb prays in public in front of the church because that's kind of what was expected at the church he went to, and he just totally massacred the prayer and got all of his facts wrong and theology messed up in it, and he expected everybody to come up afterwards and give a terrible, terrible critique of what he said, and he was never going to do it again, never speak in front of a group again. I do very well remember my first sermon
But wait, you didn't
in front of a
finish
church.
the story.
Well, this is coming.
Okay.
I was no longer going to this little Baptist church in the suburbs of Chicago that I had grown up in. I had moved to a different church, felt a call to ministry there, the big mega church where they would never allow a guy like me, a college kid like me, or not even, I was like a senior in high school, to get up and teach in front of the entire church or anybody really. And so this little Baptist church that I had grown up in said, why don't you come back? And they had like Sunday night services. Why don't you come back and teach a Sunday night for us?
And it wasn't like our Sunday night where it's the same service.
No, right.
This is
it's all the same people
really
from Sunday morning.
devoted people go again on Sunday night.
So I don't remember what I did, but I remember, I think I told the story of Samuel, and I explained that Samuel went on to become one of the greatest kings in the history of Israel.
Now, for those of you that don't know your Bible trivia very well, Samuel was never a king. He was a prophet.
Right.
Worked closely with the kings, anointed David and Saul.
Yes, but never became a king.
Never became a king.
And
wait, your whole sermon was on this?
Yeah. Well, no, the sermon was, I think, on the origin story of Samuel. But,
okay.
But
how he rose to being a king.
Right. It was all the early stuff, and then it was like, and that man went on to become one of the greatest kings.
Oh no.
So I say that to say, looking back, like shortly after when it hit me that I was wrong, I expected someone to come up and critique, and instead I got nothing but support from people and encouragement that night. Like, oh, wow, you're gifted at this. You ought to go do this. And I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they inspired courage. Because it would have killed me if somebody had come up and told me how much of an idiot I was.
Right.
Yeah.
That
Which,
kind
by the
of
way,
turning point thing.
Doesn't stop people from doing it today.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's true. So you went on to tell of a couple more ways that we can go beyond saying I love you, admiring someone, and also being appreciative of someone.
Yeah.
But just this whole concept, I thought maybe we'd close with this. The whole concept of these words being more important, more powerful than I love you it makes people be like, wait, what? I thought I love you were the most important words. Like, what does that look like for us in our lives? Can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but does I love you wear off? What I mean by that is, like, the first time someone says it to you do you remember the first time I told you I love you?
Yes.
Where was it?
It was at this coffee house, I think, called the Equator.
Oh, I remember that.
Wait, you're saying you didn't remember? In Pasadena.
I didn't remember it.
Pass.
Yeah. Is it still there? I wonder. We should check it out.
Let's definitely put that on
okay.
the number one list.
Yeah. Huge moment, right? I mean, coming from me.
It was a real life changer.
No. But
yeah, no, it was a moment. It was.
Yes.
I remember.
Okay, we're now 20 plus years into our marriage, 22, almost 22, and I think we discussed this on a previous podcast. I'm not good at math. Anyway, saying I love you as you're walking out the door is not the same thing as what happened at that coffee house that day, right? And what I mean is not that it's not meaningful or still powerful, but I just mean to say it's way more powerful to say to someone, hey, I appreciate you and here's why.
Yes.
I admire you. To go behind someone's back. We talked about that with
I
Jesus.
love that part.
He goes and tells people how great John the Baptist is when John the Baptist isn't even standing there,
Yeah.
In fact, I think it's more powerful in that setting. You ever get around people who are just kind of flatterers?
Yeah.
Like they just it like seeps out of them. It's so sappy and you're in a room with them and they're like, can I just tell everyone how great Andrea is? Listen to what I'm going to just talk about her for like 60 seconds while she sits here awkwardly. I mean, that's good too. But for someone to say that when you're not around, so they're not just trying to make you feel good.
Right. In a weird way, that first person, it almost makes it more about them.
Almost.
In some weird way.
Yeah.
So I guess to hear that someone did that, or just to know that it grows your trust in somebody, like that they would speak in such a great way.
Yeah, because everybody's afraid of what people are saying about them when they're not around.
Right.
Assuming it's bad, right?
Right. Could we be people who
Yeah.
speak really well of people in front
Absolutely.
of other people?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's good. It's a really good challenge as we're kind of partway through this series on how to love the people that we're with and the people we're not with. I'm saying the title wrong, but
How to love the ones you're with and those you're not.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a good one. And so just leave us with a challenge. What's our challenge for this week?
Yeah.
Or reiterate the challenge.
I think the challenge is, and I don't think I got to go into this as far as I would have liked to on Sunday. I think it wouldn't be hard for everybody to sit down and kind of list out the people that they know might be people who need words of love spoken to them. They need love shown through words. And the challenge would be to write that out and then to actually think, how am I doing at speaking words of affirmation, words of appreciation, or words of encouragement, inspiring courage into that person who I know needs it? I think this is a real practical hands-on series, and there's an opportunity every single week with one of these to think about a person in your life who needs that thing we're talking about, and then to think about how you're doing it showing love that way.
All right. Well, that's good. We'll end it there. Thanks for letting us peek into the process and continue thinking a little bit more about where we were on Sunday with this stuff.
All right.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, everybody.